welcome to the Nerdiverse. Go ahead, sit and listen to the masters, the old heads, talk about what you love the most. Video games, comics, movies, and everything you need to maintain. We got the knowledge that's straight out the ether. Gonna need a drink and have to take a seat to expand your mind and listen to the speaker. Mike and the squad's gonna give you what you need. Please send in a question, come and get some answers, learn a couple lessons from the masters with the special guests. We got the Green Lanterns glowing on their chest. Yes, please sit back and relax, cause we're gonna hit you with them stone cold facts. And allow me to be the very first to welcome you to the masters of the Nerdiverse. Welcome to Masters of the Nerdiverse, where we always have such sights to show you. You can always find our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, Amazon Alexa, LV447, I think that's the number. It's the designation of the living zone, our landing zone, I believe. See, what you do is you enter LV4... I'm messing up the number and all the Aliens fans are going to kill me. And it's like, you hook a left at medical and you see like a opened xenomorph egg, and you grab in there and you look through all the muck and slime, and you pull out a copy of the podcast. It's also in there. Just be careful.
Yeah.
And don't use live rounds, because the whole place will catch on fire. Then adios muchachos. I'm of course your host Mike G.
And I'm your co-host Winter Sturdivant.
Yes, and we are the masters of the Nerdiverse. Oh man, I'm so excited for this week, man. This was a crazy week, like an insane week, man. How are you doing, dude?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm glad to be here, able to record, doing some we'll say some brainstorming on my branding on the internet, which is always fun to do. Have charts all around my room, look like I have like a conspiracy growing around, but just trying to organize, like, okay, today I have to put 7 posts. I have like a system for all the different Facebook pages that I do, where I take like an hour to find different posts, and then I make it like once a day.
Right.
I post at a certain time, and I always make the times weird. Like on my meme page, I do like 4:20 to look like a real jerk.
Nice. Meme it up. You gotta become a meme lord, dog.
Yeah, just stuff like that. And it's very, very fun stuff.
Yeah, it reminds me of like, I'm thinking if you have like the murder wall, kind of like Pepe Sylvia. You have the Pepe Sylvia wall from Always Sunny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there before.
Or like, where's the mail's going?
Yeah, where's the mail going? Exactly. Yeah. Pepe Sylvia, like there is no Pepe Sylvia, dog.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, we have to do an Always Sunny cast one of these days. That'd be hilarious.
Oh yeah. But how's your week? How's that going?
Man, my week's been kind of up and down, man. It's been very up and down. Like, victory, it's like you have the moment of victory, and then snatched away by a small loss, and you're just like, no. So it's like, it's like, I won, and you're holding up the trophy to the sky, but a bird like takes a crap on it. You're just like, nice. That's, there we go. That's the universe telling me to calm down. What I'm talking about is that I actually beat Assassin's Creed Origins over the week.
Yeah. And
that game was fun. It had an anticlimactic end. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's such a damper on an amazing game, and it's not even a bad thing. It's not a bad ending. It's not like Gears of War 2 where you're just like, what? Why did it end that way? It's not that silly.
I'm curious now.
Yeah, I'll tell you off the show. I'm
never gonna play it, but okay.
Oh yeah, you like spoil me all day. No, it's set in it sets really strange ramifications for actual historical events. You know what I mean? It's like like in Transformers, it was like, yeah, the Transformers killed Adolf Hitler. It's like the Transformers were part of the
what?
Yeah, in Last Night, they said that a Transformer killed Adolf Hitler. It was a Transformer. Right. That the Transformers were part of the Knights Templar or something stupid.
Can you confirm or deny that in Assassin's Creed, Do they reference aliens?
No, it's not even aliens, dude. It's so dumb. Okay, if you don't want to hear this,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go into spoilers. If you don't want to hear this, fast forward like 3 minutes because it's real quick.
Yeah.
It's not aliens. It's some stupid like. It's not stupid. It's so overdone. It's time is cyclical, and
Yeah.
it's the future talking to us from the past to motivate the future.
Dumb.
It's dumb. It's like, hey guys, we have this MP3. We're gonna just leave in ancient Egypt because we've somehow learned how to time travel. It's the first civilization stuff, and it's like,
Yeah.
what happened?
It's just like a way for like writers to not. I mean, I've seen great like time travel stuff, but it's very easy. There's a wide margin for you to fail with time travel.
Time travel is so difficult, man.
Yeah, like the movie Predestination. I like that with Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
And like I won't spoil that or anything, but then you have John Claude Van Damme's Time Cop.
Don't disparage Time Cop, man. That really that's how it works, dude. Freaking Bill and Ted's Excellent
Right?
Adventure, right? Time travel.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Man, the one time travel movie I will recommend to everyone to watch if you just want your nose to bleed from raw information is Primer. You ever seen Primer?
Yeah, I knew it. You were gonna say
Primer is so. Jeez Louise, man. Watch Primer. If you like time travel, if you like science, if you're like really big into scientific exploration, you're not smarter. It's one of those movies that's like, you're not smarter than me. Even though you think you may be smarter than me, the movie is smarter than you. And it takes a second for you to realize that. And then you have to double back and watch it again.
It reminds me of what happens when you have a true nerd behind the director's seat.
Yeah.
And going like, all these time travel movies suck. If this was really going to happen, this was how it's going to happen. And then they spend 2 hours diving into the literal science of it.
Yeah.
And it's bizarre. It's almost as bizarre as when I hear people complain about laser pistols wouldn't shoot that way. It's like,
come on, man.
Yeah.
If we actually had it figured out, it wouldn't be science fiction anymore. It'd just be science, right? So, it's like Primer is like if actual nerds, like not even geeks, but like real legit, like MIT nerds wrote a movie. It's like that,
exactly.
and it's very strict. It's not played for excitement or laughs or intrigue. It's like real science. It's almost like scientists wrote this and had no way to exhibit human emotion. It's very dry, but it will science the hell out of you. It will super science you, and you'll be just sitting there like, I don't know what to do with my life at this point. Oh man.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, that's enough about
Primer. Just watch it, man. Time travel makes my head hurt. But the bittersweetness about the Assassin's Creed, me beating that, was that my PlayStation controller gave up the ghost immediately after I beat the game. So I just was like, yay. My day one controller just died. And I'm just like, okay, that's a sign. That was its last gift to me. Here's the completion of this game. Now I must go to controller heaven and hang out with my brethren. You know, my wave bird.
Will this be the push for you to get an Xbox?
No, because I need Xbox to make a game that I want to play.
All right.
Just to be legit, like no shade to Xbox, to Xbox fans out there, because I had an Xbox. I had an Xbox 360. The difference is they had games that made me want to buy the system.
Oh, jeez.
Like, here's the thing, and I love Gears of War as much as the next man. I love Killer Instinct. I love Forza as much as the next man, the next woman, the next gamer. But those aren't console sellers to me personally, Mike G. You know what I'm saying? Like, but during the time when this last generation came out, it was PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. And I had my money in my hand. I had to make the decision. PlayStation 4, Street Fighter 5. Xbox One, Gears of War. PlayStation 4, Bloodborne. Xbox One, Forza. PlayStation 4. You know, like, Like
Yeah.
Uncharted 4. It's like, no, what am I not gonna play Street Fighter? No way. No way. We'll get to that later. But it's just if Xbox One X said Red Dead Redemption console exclusive, you got my money, man. You know what I mean? Like go for it.
I see.
But until that day happens, I'm gonna get a Switch before I get a Xbox One, and that's crazy to me because I haven't bought a Nintendo product since the GameCube. You know what I'm saying?
But I could see it because it's like most of the games that I enjoy are cross-platform sort of thing. They're on both systems. So
Right.
once you have one system, you might as well go for the Switch. Even though I never see myself getting one,
Right.
unless they like turn into like what we're actually reselling all the original Nintendo and NES games on it, and you can buy like your favorite for $1.
I think
Then
that's
that would
yeah.
make I don't know if that's what they're actually doing or not. I am not the marketer for Super Nintendo or like Nintendo
Me
or stuff like
neither.
that.
But you can. There is like the Nintendo store where you can buy old school games if you want. You know what I'm saying? Like you just download it to the system. But Nintendo has it's created a banquet of games that I just can't ignore. You know what I mean? So it's like Mega Man 8.
Splatoon.
I'm sorry. Breath of the Wild, Mario
Splatoon
Odyssey,
2.
Splatoon 2. Stay fresh. If you know what I'm talking about, you got it. I will fight anyone to the death over Splatoon. I never played it, but I'm such a fanboy of it. I draw it and everything. I love that. It's like fresh new Nintendo. It's the coolest thing. It's a new IP from Nintendo that's actually really good. So I'm just like, my one man's opinion, but yeah, I would love to have an Xbox One X and have the 4K experience. But like you said, I already own a system that shares most of the games. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, I'm not that type of guy to buy the same game on multiple consoles because it's like, what's the point of that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right.
Shout out to my friends that do that, but you need help.
You need help, man. I'm not gonna buy 5 copies of Max Payne 3. Like what? Why would I do that? I just need one good copy and I'm good to go. Unless each copy delivers like something specific to that console. Like when Soul Calibur 2 came out, there was a character for each console.
Mm-hmm.
You had Heihachi Mishima on the PlayStation version. You had Link from Legend of Zelda on the GameCube version. You had Spawn on the Xbox version. That's a reason to buy multiple copies of the same game to experience all 3 characters. But if it's the exact same experience, then I'm just gonna buy it on the console I got.
True dat.
True dat, man. Other than that, my week was pretty lazy, man. Just watch some more of The Gifted. Watch Capcom Cup. Got to see some cats get bodied and a new champion, Dawn, go Dominican Republic. Go Menard. He was the underdog. He beat Tokido. His birdie beat actually Tokido Sakuma from my Street Fighter heads, and that was a big upset because Tokido won E3. No, he won Evo. Tokido won Evo this year, so it's just like, wow, let's go, man. Hail to the king. Oh man. Other than that, anything else on your week, Winter, that you wanted to talk about?
Well, I'm trying to think of nerd-related stuff that happened.
Right. Yeah.
I guess looking into Fantasy Grounds, which is a virtual tabletop for Dungeons and Dragons.
Sick. Okay.
Yeah, it's a very interesting program. It's like very hard for me to go like buy the same books that I have for the program, but once you do, it's integrated into the system. So it's like you just drag and drop what you want. Yeah. So there might be a foreseeable purchase of that.
Yeah,
that
man.
And Fruity Loops. I want Fruity Loops. Or is it called Fruity Loops?
I think it's Fruity Loops.
Audio mastering or audio DAW center. I want that. Also want an accordion.
Nice.
Santa. Yeah, just a weekend of having no money, but yet you're looking at things to buy.
Trust me, man. I am the lord of champagne taste with beer money, dog. Like, okay, if you get an accordion for one of the outros, you have to play like the Legend of Zelda theme on your accordion and record it.
All right.
I would love that.
I already have a melodica. I can learn Legend. I can learn. You know what a melodica is?
Is that the? I don't want to sound dumb, so educate me.
Okay, the melodica is pretty much it's like it's that keyboard that with the tube that goes through your mouth and you blow in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it's advertised almost in the same category as an accordion, but it's very cool. I don't play as much as I should.
Man, practice, dude. I hear that. I haven't touched my bass in months because I've just been so focused on other stuff. But you know how that goes. One day you'll just get the itch and you're like, all right, let's go learn some music. And then you just get right back to it.
Right.
Man, speaking of learning stuff, let's learn about this news. Sound effects, ladies and gentlemen. Sound effects are here. And they're ready to fight you with their fists wrapped in glass and glue, like in Kickboxer with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Oh man, do you ever see Kickboxer with Jean-Claude Van Damme?
I've heard about it.
What? We seriously need a movie night, man. You have to see Tompo. He like kicks the tree and the tree breaks. He does maximum splits because his trainer ties Jean-Claude Van Damme's legs to like two pulleys and he almost draws and quarters him because he wants to get his legs to do maximum splits.
Okay.
It's as amazing as it sounds. I'm just trying to just tell you.
I'm more of a Steven Seagal fan.
Oh, Under Siege, dog.
I'm not talking about his early stuff. I'm talking about later.
Oh, no, man. He's like a bloated like bounty hunter, like his TV show.
I swear to you, I watched on Netflix. I can't even remember what the movie is. A Code to Kill, we'll call it, something like that. Where he is literally sitting through 70% of the movie, and he's beating people up while he's sitting down.
Man, late in the game, Seagal is the garbage and stuff.
Yeah, well, it's like perfect. It's like he's not. He gets to have his chili dog while getting the girl. It's perfect.
That reminds me of like when Bill Murray was Bill Murray was forced to do the Ghostbusters remake. And he's like, as long as I don't have to stand up, I will do whatever you guys want me to do. So all his scenes, he's awkwardly sitting down and like giving less than any F's on the planet, man. Like he just doesn't care. He's reading through his lines and he wants to go home. It's the kind of the worst. Mm-hmm. Oh man, talking about reading through lines, let's get into this news, man. There's a lot. There's a metric ton of news this week. So we're gonna heavy focus on certain things, but let's try to fly through these
all right.
as quickly as we can. Anything you want to just linger on, just go for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the first one right here.
I know.
Yeah.
I picked that one out for you, man, because I know you're a Twilight Zone head. So the news is that CBS All Access greenlit a Twilight Zone reboot from Jordan Peele, the director of Get Out and Key and Peele comedy skits. How do you feel about this, man? Like, what's your initial gut reaction?
I'm excited for it. I can see where they go wrong with the heavy-handed message at the end of the episode could be a problem,
right?
Because it's like what was good about the Twilight Zone was how like subtle some of the messages were in a lot of the episodes, but I could see Peele doing a good job. I haven't been steered wrong by most of what he's done.
Right. His career has taken weird turns, hasn't it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it's just I'm gonna sound like show business, but that's Hollywood, baby.
That's Hollywood, baby. Chomp on your cigar.
Yeah, just picture the director of Mad Max. He did Happy Feet as well as Mad Max.
Do what you got to do, man. You know?
And it's like Jordan Peele is at that stage in his career that he gets to do whatever he wants. So, The problem is a CBS All Access. I don't like how it's going to be just streaming. I think it needs to be on the TV.
Yeah, I think it's because they don't have faith in it. I think they're just like, they're not going to put all their eggs in one basket in it. And the scariest word in that entire sentence is reboot. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to Twilight Zone. Because it's like, are they just going to reboot existing episodes? Are these going to be new social anxieties that are going to be reflected in the episodes? Because that was the big thing for me, was Twilight Zone was social anxiety reflected in episodes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and how it really spoke to race. It spoke to, it spoke to, sexuality. It spoke to gender law and gender equality. And it was just oh man, like, if you think about it, Twilight Zone really just set the archetype for so many things. You know what I mean? Because it came out so early. And for Jordan Peele, I can see where they're going from, because Get Out is a real good commentary on social, on social anxieties. You know what I mean?
Right.
Racial anxieties. So I can see where I would rather him be a front runner and not direct every episode. But the thing is like Rod Sterling did half of Twilight Zone episodes by himself, right? He just was writing like a madman.
Yeah.
And just wrote some of the best commentary ever. You know?
Yeah, well, from what I gather, is he didn't actually write it himself. He would record himself saying the script out loud, and then he would have.
Really?
Yeah, because you can buy these recordings of Rod Serling talking into his recorder, and it will be like Act 1.
That's
Lady
cool,
in a diner.
Man. I would love to hear that, especially on some of my favorite episodes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Okay, real quick, what's your favorite Twilight Zone episode?
Oh, geez. My favorite would have to be the one, I can't remember the title of it, but it's the one where the lights go out in the community.
Yeah.
And then they start accusing each other. Someone shoots another guy.
And that's what you're talking about. Is that Monster on Maple Street or something like that?
Yeah.
That's man. It. Okay, real quick. Oh, go for it. I'm sorry. I don't want to step on you.
Oh, it's a very good episode. It has inspired me.
That's what Twilight Zone's all about, man. It's inspired so many people on so many different levels, and we could just do a Twilight Zone cast by itself because it's so dense. But just a shout out to my favorite episode is The Howling Man, where the guy goes to the monastery and he actually finds the devil himself captured, and the devil like talks him out of the stuff. And I'm not going to spoil it for any like younger listeners that have never watched Twilight Zone. Do yourself a favor and watch all of Twilight Zone. Every episode is a gem. And that's not hyperbole. Almost every episode is like an 8 out of 10. In suspense, in pacing, in direction, in message. I can just gush about Twilight Zone all day. It's inspired me on so many different levels.
Yeah, and it's I won't spend too much time anymore on it, but if you're a fan or you're interested in film and directing and writing, it's almost a requirement to watch Twilight Zone.
Right. It's required reading, man. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like, if you're a horror geek, you gotta at least watch all the original movie monsters, Dracula, The Mummy, Frankenstein, just to see where things come from, you know?
Right.
Yeah, man. Speaking of things coming, Square Enix has announced a third Tomb Raider game. So I definitely wanted to put that on the docket because I love those games. I think they're pretty good. And the original was the remake of Tomb Raider, which I played on Xbox 360 and loved. Then there was Rise of the Tomb Raider, which was really good. And now we're getting, I guess, the end of a trilogy to bring back Lara Croft, because I think she's one of the most important women in gaming. She's top 5, I would say, of women in game, of female characters in gaming. She's really important to me, in regards to that.
Yeah.
Have you played any of those games?
Second one would be the woman off the Gecko game from Gex from the Nintendo 64. Yes.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, I played the original Tomb Raider, which was pretty good.
Right.
I'm not too much of a fan of it because they were it seemed like the time period of me interested in these games didn't correlate with when they were coming out.
Right.
So I played all the Uncharted games back in my PlayStation years.
Right.
But then it's like once these new Tomb Raiders came out, I was already on board for like Call of Duty and watching all those stuff. So
Activision already got their hooks in you, huh?
Yeah, but it's a great game. I like the movies as well.
Oh yeah, man. One thing I like about these remakes is they tone down like the over sexualization of the character. You know
That
what I'm
is
saying?
important. Yeah, that is important. Yeah.
Because it makes you take the character more seriously, and that's where she boosted in pop and to me in the ranks of the Samus Orions and the Chun Li's, you know what I'm saying, and the Sonya Blades and the and all in the Princess Zelda and Princess Peach, you know, the iconic female characters, right?
Right.
And I'm just really looking forward to what they do with, because these games are always super polished. They always look really good. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah, all the trailers or all the gameplay I've seen are excellent.
So imagine this like on the Xbox One X, which is currently the most powerful console game, or even on a beastly PC. It's gonna look amazing. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good stuff, man. Speaking of things that look amazing, what about this Death Stranding trailer that was debuted, at the Game Awards, man? Did you check this thing out?
Yeah, personally, I'm close to being skeptical.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where it's turning into, well, you guys can research the background of this whole
debauchery, man.
Yeah, but now it's getting to the point of like that one movie that came out about the French comic book. Can't remember what it is.
Oh, but, yeah. It just came out and it flopped, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like they're trying to build this whole universe. They're trying to go like so mind bending, so dark, so weird.
Yeah.
And it's like it's totally not like Resident Evil or Silent Hill. You can actually the actors' faces.
Faces, right?
Yeah.
And that's Kojima, though, man. Like, here's the thing: Kojima's imagination. We're talking about Hideo Kojima, the game director of the Metal Gear Solid series, of the Zone of the Ender series. He's the biggest name in Japan when it comes to game development, and he's this madman, this mad scientist of gaming, and he's been chained by the shackles of Konami for so long that he actually gets to be creative. And this is all that creative energy poured into this game that I have no idea what's going on.
Right.
It just it's a bunch of crazy stuff. I don't know what is and what's the creepy part is that he says that there's gameplay in that trailer.
What?
There's gameplay in that trailer.
Okay. Gameplay could mean several different things.
Your thumb is on the controller, and your other thumb is on the right stick, and you're walking around. There's just no HUD, so it's all blending into the cinematography.
Wow.
So I'm like, what is this, man? It's so good. Like, Death Stranding, I can't even explain what it is because no one knows what it is. It's a hodgepodge of science fiction, horror, and like abstract art.
Yeah, and
crazy
ill feelings with Konami.
Yeah, hashtag fuck Konami. Everyone is like, and it's funny when Norman Reedus and Hideo Kojima announced the game at the Game Awards, which were this last weekend. The main thing that Norman Reedus was saying was, no one can stop us now. No one can stop this game from coming out. It's like, it's such a middle finger to Konami, which they deserve because they're, between them and EA, they're the two worst gaming companies on the planet. So they deserve all the negative juju that they're getting. So forget those dudes.
Now, we've talked about, I think last episode we talked about this, about how, like, it could have been a good thing of, like, restricting this guy's creativeness depending on how this game turns out. Because it could be that there's so much going on.
It's a hot mess.
That, yeah. And I predict that it's going to be not long enough of a game. It's going to be too short. I predict that it's going to be they're going to be focusing too much on the aesthetics of the game, that it's not going to be well thought out game wise. Now, who am I to know what really the game's going to be about? This is just what I'm assuming. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Well, it's like, look at the man's track record, right? Like, if you look through all the Metal Gear Solid series, there's two that really stand out, which is Metal Gear Solid, the first one, and Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, which was the third one. And the other ones are up for discussion. I'm not going to sit here and try to and make a countdown for the Metal Gear games because I don't want to get yelled at. You know what I'm saying? But I think that he's the type of dude, like you said, that needs to have the reins reined in on his script. Because if you just let him go, it's going to be a big hodgepodge of mess, and no one's going to understand it. No one's going to get it. You know, it has to have some through line of coherency. You know what I mean? And do I think this is going to be a 30-hour game experience? Probably. It's not going to be long. I don't think it's going to be like a 100-hour plus open world experience. I think it's going to be very linear because the Metal Gear games were very linear outside of 5, which he didn't even complete, but that's a whole different story. Right? So Death Stranding, you know, the Lord bless them, man. I just want to see this thing in action. I want to see someone playing it on a controller. And do you use guns? I mean, are there weapons? Is it a dating sim? You know, is it an arcade racer? Nobody knows, man. It's so abstract. Speaking of abstract things, From Software also teased their latest project, and did you watch this really 5-second trailer?
No, I didn't. Actually, I apologize.
No, man, you're not missing much. It's only 5 seconds. And just to give a brief description, it's some kind of femur that's attached to a contraption that has a bloody rope attached to it, and it's tightening. You know think about how your arm tightens, you can see like the muscle sinew flex. It's like that, but it's kind of like mechanical. And it only says Shadows Die Twice, and then it just goes From Software, and that's the whole trailer.
Oh, it's Bloodborne 2.
Thank you. It's Bloodborne 2. Yeah. And it almost reminds me of, you ever seen Virus with Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yes.
How I love Virus. First of all, check out Virus. It's a really dumb movie, but it's fun. And it's like that weird mesh of flesh and metal, where it's kind of like a weird body horror kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's very visceral. It's very tense, and the music is perfect. And it's just Bloodborne 2. You know what I'm saying? If it's not, I think people are going to be disappointed, but then they'll get hyped once they find out if it's an original IP. Because From Software can do no wrong at this point. You know what I mean? Like, they've made so many good games, and they have such a weird cult following. And for those who don't know, From Software created the games, and I've talked about these games before on the podcast, Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, my favorite, Armored Core, which is one of it's one of the sickest mech games I've ever played. It's so detailed. But it's just a small little teaser of what this game is going to be. And they're like, we'll have updates within the next 12 months. And everyone's like, screw you, dude. Just tell me what it is. I can't wait that long. My brain's going to explode. You know, I don't know. A lot of the trailers over this weekend were very kind of tongue in cheek. Like, what is this? Like, I don't know what I'm looking at. And that's
I don't like it.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
And only the diehards get super hyped for that stuff. Everybody else is like, all right, whatever. That's weird. We'll see. You know, but I'm a huge... Bloodborne is one of those games, and the From Software games, one of those games that I can't beat because they're just too hard for me and my old man reflexes. You know, but I love watching them. They're fun to watch. I love the lore. I love the setting. Bloodborne has one of the best settings in video games, in my opinion. It's the second coming of Castlevania. It just looks... Watch a Let's Play of Bloodborne. It looks beautiful. And if this is indeed Bloodborne 2, I'd buy it to support them, but I'm not gonna beat it because it's too hard. These games are just stupid difficult. You know what I'm saying? But more power to them, man. It looks good. It looks really good. We'll see, right?
Right.
Oh man. Speaking of announcements, let's freaking go. The Shadow
Bayonetta.
Bayonetta 3. The Shadow Remains cast. Let's go. I love Bayonetta. Love Bayonetta. Bayonetta 3 was announced exclusive for the Switch. So here's the breakdown, right? This is how it went. Reggie from Nintendo came out and said, okay, I got an announcement to make. They announced that Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2 are coming out as a collection for the Switch. So you can be able to play Bayonetta 1 and 2 on the Switch in like the next few months. Like I think he said Q1 2018. And then he said, wait, there's more. And he rolls out a sizzle reel for the next Bayonetta game, which is exclusive to Switch. And I'm just like, do I need any other reason to buy this console? Like, it's just, it's reaching Super Nintendo levels of really good games really early. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
The Switch is just so good right now. Like, and we got news later coming down the line, which I'm not going to talk about yet, which is another reason to buy the Switch. But I'm really looking forward to purchasing this console. I haven't been this hyped for a console since like the PlayStation 3. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna look at the price real quick for a Switch. Real quick.
They're like $299. They're like $299.
Weren't they like $600 a while back?
Yeah, that's back when Nintendo lost their damn minds and only produced like 100 of them, and they undershot the production, and everybody was like eBay selling them and shit, and it was impossible to find them. You know what I'm saying? You still, depending on your area, it's still hard to find them on Amazon, which is dumb to me because they've been out for almost a year. But sometime next year, I got to pick up a Switch, man. It's just, oh man, there's too many good
Still
games
waiting for
on
my
it.
Skyrim on it. Still waiting for
Skyrim will be there. That's one of their launch games. That's a reason to pick it up if you're a Skyrim head.
Well, wasn't there issues of it not really being on there yet? Or like the NBA game that they were advertising.
Yeah, it's because the actual data that it took to run those games on the Switch were more than what their memory cards can handle. It's like those games are very gig heavy, and the Switch has like one of those SD card for memory. So it's like they had to figure out how to balance that with all the other games you have on your on your console, right? You know, so that was the big problem. That's the reason why it hasn't come out yet. They're optimizing the game.
All right, you're convincing me now to look into this again.
I'm just gonna name some killer apps is what I call it. Reason to buy a system.
Yeah.
Mega Man 11. New Mega Man. Breath of the Wild Zelda, which was named Game of the Year this year. Mario Odyssey, which was also in the running of Game of the Year. Street Fighter Anniversary Collection, which we'll talk about later. Of course, Splatoon and Splatoon 2, which are a lot of fun. Bayonetta 3, 1, and 2. 3, 2, and 1. Skyrim, for all those Skyrim heads out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the deal with Bethesda. So future Bethesda games are going to be coming out on the Switch. So potential Fallout 5 or Fallout New Vegas 2, whatever comes out first. Buy a Switch, man. Damn it. God,
Buy a Switch.
Buy a Switch, damn it. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm getting one. It's happening.
Okay.
It's super happening. Speaking of things that are happening, I threw my remote control across the room when this announcement came out. And I screamed like a little girl. I screamed like a babe, like a children's, like a youngling. My voice hit falsetto when this game was announced. And when they asked the question to the audience at the Game Awards, does your soul still burn? Soul Calibur 6 was announced 2018. And Soul Calibur.
Wow.
Soul Calibur 6. The next number iteration of the Soul Calibur series. It's been like 5 years since the last Soul Calibur game. Like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And, Soul Calibur is... Soul Calibur is like my favorite fighting game outside of Street Fighter. Like Soul Blade, Soul Edge, Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast, playing that for the first time. The soundtrack. I have all the art books from Soul Caliburs 1 through 5. Oh, my girl Ivy. I just imagine what she's gonna play like. The game. They already showed gameplay. It looks so good. They're going back to the past where they're gonna kick some ass. Soul Calibur 6, man. Just take my money, dude. Just here. Just take my firstborn. You know.
Yeah.
Just
now give me the list of who do you think are going to be the surprise characters.
Okay, yeah. I got a list. It's dope. Okay. If they do, it's coming out on PlayStation, Xbox One X, and PC, right?
Okay.
And this is what I'm thinking. I think each console is going to get a secret character, like in Soul Calibur 2, like what we talked about earlier. So for PlayStation, I think it's going to be the Bloodborne Hunter for Bloodborne. It's going to be the secret character for PlayStation. For PC, I think it's going to be B2 from Nier Automata. She's the blind android with all the swords and shit. And for Xbox One X, man, that's a tough one. I think it's going to be a Killer Instinct character. I think it's going to be like Spinal or Hayako from Killer Instinct.
Why not Master Chief?
Because that's been done.
Oh, I knew that.
Master Chief was a fighting game character in a couple of games, and I think he had representation in the last Soul Calibur. No, it wasn't Soul Calibur. Dang it! I think it was Killer Instinct, but yeah, I think it could be. It could definitely be Master Chief again, but they have to come out with a new Halo, right?
That's true.
Xbox One X needs their Halo game, so we'll see how that goes, and that could be cross promotion there. You know what I'm saying? Or
I'm assuming they already did Kratos for PlayStation, right?
They did Kratos. Kratos was a playable character in Mortal Kombat 9.
Okay.
Which was crazy. He was a cross-platform playable character in Mortal Kombat 9. And that was also with Freddy Krueger and Scarlet, I think, were the downloadable characters for that game. And I think Smoke. So Kratos will be dope. Like the new Kratos, like the God of War PlayStation 4 Kratos, with the beard and the ice axe, will be dope. But I really want the Bloodborne Hunter. And just with the axe sickle or the chain or the whip cane or something like that. It'll be sick, dude.
Yeah, you're also there. They could do Star Wars again.
They could do Star Wars. I mean, why not, man? I mean, throw Kylo Ren in that bad boy.
Yeah.
Why not?
Be considered the best Star Wars game to come out.
It super would. And with no microtransactions. Wink. You know what I'm saying? Jeez Louise. Me and my friend were at work. We were talking about, like, why is there not a lot of hype around The Last Jedi coming out? Like, it doesn't seem like it's a lot of hype, right? People are losing their minds. And I was telling them, I was like, dude, it's probably because all the negative backlash Star Wars is getting from EA and from Battlefront 2. You know what I mean? Like, that stuff trickles down.
Yeah. That, and I read like an article from this film critic, and he's comparing Star Wars to Harry Potter now. To where it's turning into look at these young kids run around, get into mischief and stuff.
Man.
I'm like, well, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm still gonna watch it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go see it this weekend. That's coming up on what am I getting hyped for. But have you been checking out some of these like initial reactions? People are saying this movie's crazy, dude. People are saying like,
no,
don't expect what you think you're gonna expect. People are like, one guy said ballsy. He said this movie is very ballsy. I'm like, what? A Star Wars movie?
Notch,
take it down a notch, bro. Put down the Red Bull and give us a decent review. Gosh. Yeah. But even though I would support Red Bull if they want to support this podcast, it's a delicious energy drink. Yeah, and it's supported by Street Fighter, so just give it a plug. Just give us money, Red Bull, I'll do it. Anyway, but yeah, throwing Street Fighter Street Fighter characters in Soul Calibur would be so sick. But throwing Star Wars characters in Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur is one of those games where you can just throw anybody in there, and from example of Tekken, because that's the same band, Namco Bandai makes Tekken, right. And just here's some of the characters that are in the Tekken game. It's Akuma from Street Fighter, and Geese Howard from King of Fighters are both in in a Tekken game, right? So it's like that kind of madness, but with Soul Calibur. And Noctis from FF15 is going to be in Tekken, which is crazy. So it's like they're making connections. So Soul Calibur 6's like secret character or guest characters could be insane, man. It could be anybody, man.
Right.
It could be Crash Bandicoot. It could be dope.
It could be Mario.
It could be Mario. Mario would be way too OP though, because you know Mario can't die. You know.
Right. Well, it'd be like a realistic version of Mario.
That'll be weird.
Like, yeah.
It'll be like Bob Hopkins.
Bob, yeah. Bobby boy.
You'll have like the Odyssey hat that just takes over your body and makes you character switch. That's just,
yeah.
See, that one's free. That one's super free. Speaking of games that are hope are free, THQ Nordic reveals a supernatural survival game called Fade to Silence that looks really interesting.
Yeah, I was just looking at some photos of that. It's this would be on my list. I'm always a fan of survival games.
Yeah, and it kind of looks like The Thing, like mixed with like Battle, like mixed with like what was that Battle Los Angeles? You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
Where you're in the Arctic tundra and you have to legit survive, like do like survival game stuff, like make a fire, and build a house, and protect yourself from the elements, but also fight aliens or something like that. You know what I mean? And that's pretty cool. It's made by the guys who made what's the name of that game? By the guys who made Bulletstorm. No, that's the other game that's coming up. That's the other game. This game was made by THQ Nordic, so I just want to put it on the docket because it looks interesting. And it's a new IP. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I definitely wanted to give it some.
Check it out.
Check it out. Keep an eye on it, right? Another new IP that coming out, which I kind of just mentioned a second ago, was a game called Witchfire, which looks like a gothic horror first-person shooter. Have you seen the trailer for this thing? It looks really weird. It's like the reason I'm hype about it, only reason I put it on the docket is because it's being made by the guys who made Bulletstorm, which is one of my favorite games on the Xbox 360. I love that game.
Yeah, this looks cool. I forgot about it, yeah.
It looks super cool. So I'm like, okay, you got my attention with the Bulletstorm creators, and we'll see. Show me more, right? Show me more. You're a new IP. Right. Thrill me. You know what I'm saying? So, and the last bit of gaming news, no, it's not, but there's the closer, which we'll save for end. But the last bit of gaming news for a second is another new IP that came out, which is 4-player co-op, and that's co-operational gaming, for those who don't know what co-op means, and that's fine. It's a game called GTFO. Or Get the F Out. I don't want to just blatantly curse unless I'm being passionate about something.
All right.
But it's kind of like Borderlands, like 4-on-4 Borderlands, where you're just a squad of dudes trying to get out of like an installation with ghoul monsters floating around. And it looks interesting. It's like a first-person shooter, and apparently it's very co-op heavy. Like you guys have to work together, so it makes me think class-based. Maybe there's a tech guy, a tank, maybe like a sniper or something like that. We'll see how it goes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's
very hard to do co-op games like that, you know. I hope it doesn't become another like heist, like that heist game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember what it's called.
It's real easy to mess those up, man. And as long as the campaign is interesting, and there's no word of like versus. It all seems very PvE. You know what I mean? Which is, you know, player versus environment or player versus enemy or something like that. I forget what the acronym is. But we'll see. Something you can jump online and play with your friends. You know, be dope. You know, kind of like playing like a MMORPG. You know? Oh, man. I dig it. Speaking of things that have been probably dug into the ground, we're just a little switch gears here, is Warner Brothers is planning to restructure their DC Films division. Can I get a no duh? No duh on that one.
Yeah. It's very unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate. I don't know.
Yeah. But needed to be done.
Needs to be done. Something needs to be done, right?
Yeah.
What
they need to do is like take notes from the beginning of what what Marvel did in the beginning, and they
Mm-hmm.
just mapped out how this entire arc was going to be instead of what they're doing now, which is like rolling a 20-sided die,
Mm-hmm.
find who's going to get the next movie,
So
and
nuts,
then
man.
yeah,
People
let's see
for,
what happens.
people forget that Iron Man wasn't built to be a part of a cinematic universe. It had a stinger that set it up, right? The last second of the movie is the only thing you heard about the Avengers Initiative, right? But if it failed,
Right.
it was a great standalone movie, right?
Yeah.
Like Iron Man alone didn't. There wasn't like weird cameos or like anything forced on this movie about building a universe. It was just Iron Man. And then when that was successful, we had Thor, which wasn't very successful, but it did what it needed to do. You know what I'm saying? And we had the first Avenger. It's just you have to build a foundation before you can try to build a house. You know what I mean? And it's like they need to put the right people in charge and let these guys make movies, right? It's like just let them direct, let them create, and that can't be so much like producer involvement or studio involvement, you know, because it ruins things.
Yeah, I mean, we've already covered the DC films a lot,
Yes,
so they,
it's an ongoing thing, man. Unfortunately,
yeah,
until they do better.
yeah, just get one director, have them do all the movies, and there you go.
There you go. Bob's your uncle.
Yeah,
You know, just get Christopher Nolan to do them all, right? Isn't that the answer the fans want?
there
Ugh,
you go.
it's barf.
Leonardo DiCaprio,
Uh,
Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey is now Superman.
he's
There you
Superman
go.
now, and
Yeah,
Idris Alba is the Green Lantern, and everybody's happy, right? Just do what the fans
right.
exactly what the fans want. There's no reason it'll go wrong, right? I'm staring intensely into my laptop. Jeez Louise. Speaking of eyes that can stare intensely, the first trailer dropped for Battle Angel Alita movie, which I had no idea was even being made. I thought it was
Me
in
either.
I thought it was in development hell. Did you get a chance to watch this trailer?
Yeah, that's the one. James Cameron, Robert Rodriguez is the director. James Cameron's the producer.
Right.
Um, yeah, it looks weird, so
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Right.
Like any movie nowadays that has like an original storyline that isn't superheroes or stuff like that, I have to give it a few more points than the average movie
Yeah.
because it's a brave step. So it looks interesting.
Right. And it's like, for those who don't know, man, James Cameron's been talking about this movie for almost 10 years. You know what I'm saying? He's been like, I want to make a Battle Angel Alita adaptation, and this is something I really want to do. But, oops, Avatar made $1 billion, right? This is like, and Avatar
Right.
has been his life for the last 10 years. Even though only one movie's come out. What's that about? But he's just been like, oh man, I've been wanting to make this movie forever. And it seems that Robert Rodriguez has taken the reins. And it, like you said, it looks interesting. It looks different. She has big giant anime eyes. We'll see how that uncanny valley kind of balances out, right? Just see how this thing goes.
Right.
It looks anime. It looks very anime, which is fine because, like you said, anything that's not a superhero movie that's in action needs to be focused on and rejoiced over if it's good. You know what I mean? Because the comic book, and I love comic books, but the comic book genre is so overwhelming now that anything that's not, you kind of you take notice. You know, so we'll see. We'll definitely see how this movie turns out. And it kind of makes me want to go back and watch the OVA of Battle Lita just to see where is it coming from, because it also gives me a very big Ghost in the Shell vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Just in its, because truth be told, I've never read a Battle Angel Alita comic or manga. I've never watched an anime. But from what I've been shown and what I know of the content, it gives me a very big Ghost in the Shell vibe. And it's just, if they can do Ghost in the Shell better than Scarlett Johansson can, then more power to them, man.
Right.
Right? Jeez Louise. Speaking of someone who's getting a lot of power, they're trying to get Quentin Tarantino to direct the next Star Trek movie. And he wants it to be rated R.
Out of left field, here comes Quentin
Tarantino.
Yeah.
With his foot fetish and swear words to make the next Star Trek movie? What would that be, man? It would be... How do you feel
Like,
about this, man?
you have to. There is a strong possibility that Quentin Tarantino will dial back the technology that we've seen in Star Trek films,
Right.
just to give it the 70s, 60s, 70s nostalgia feel.
Somehow it will be in the 70s.
Well, like I'll picture it like he's purposely making it like a grainy film, and having like we purposely must use ships that are on strings for this. We must make it look like we're back in the day, and then have like funk music playing in the background. Like we need to get
Yeah.
to the Cleon ship. Bow, chicka, bow,
Bow, chicka,
bow.
bow, bow, chicka, bow. And it's funny,
Yeah,
it's like some directors work better on low budgets, right? Like I've always said, if Tim Burton came out with a movie that was low budget, it would be 100 times better than what he's been putting out recently. Because he just works
yeah,
better on a shoestring budget. The same can be said with Quentin Tarantino. You make a Star Trek film, you do it on the cheap. Not cheap graphics, but just cheap everything else. And leave him to his own devices. Who knows what we'll get? It'll be a hell of a lot more interesting than the last bunch of movies we got. And maybe he'll turn the genre on his head. That's a very
right.
bold choice. And that's the only word I really want to use right now. It's just a very bold choice, right? Just like, what the hell is this thing going to be? Oh,
It's gonna
man.
be something watchable.
It's going to be something watchable.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I just want to hear Picard drop the F-bomb super hard.
Right. Or like Picard be Samuel L. Jackson for some reason.
Yeah. I'm tired
Yeah.
of these motherfucking Klingons on this motherfucking Enterprise.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez Louise. Don't do it, but do it. Oh, man. Speaking of things that I don't know what's going to be, is the new Ready Player One trailer. Just looks, it reminds me of Death Stranding. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much madness going on that you're just like, what is happening?
Well, I'm kind of over it already. Like thanks for the like, yeah, you're very unique. This is all cool stuff, but I'm like done with it now. Like I feel like I've heard enough about it. I feel like it is running the issue that Stranger Things has, which is like storyline, then have pop reference, storyline, pop reference, storyline, pop reference, and it's like, cool. Yeah, we all know what the '80s are. Okay, we all are very much aware that there's some nostalgia there. So let's just say Ready Player One. No, I'm not ready. And
here's the thing. The book is pretty much an episode of I Love the 80s. Remember that? Remember that show I Love the 80s back on
Michael Ian Black going, I love the Rubik's Cube.
I love the Rubik's Cube. Remember the Pet Rock? Remember Xanadu? Wink wink. And it's just it's too much. It's too much. There's a scene where Tracer from Overwatch, Chun-Li, and the Deadites from the Evil Dead series are just in the same shot. There's a shot of just a Gundam. It's just Mobile Suit Gundam's there. Why is Mobile Suit Gundam there? What? Whatever.
Yeah. And they're not painting a real picture of what people using the internet would be like.
No, man. It's like it's all some S extends bullshit, dude. Where it's just like,
yeah, 0 porn stars running around.
Can you imagine that corner of the Oasis? How dank that would be. They have to address it. They have to address the dark corners of the Oasis, where it's just like it's. I'm not going to drop any porn star names, but It's just that. It's just you walk in and just Mia Khalifa's there with like a visor from like Star Trek: The Next Generation. And she's just like, "Welcome to the Oasis," you know.
Or like, I want to play this game, and it's just her spitting in your face. And it's like,
get ready.
All right.
Yes, ma'am. The safe word is papaya. It's just like, oh shit. How do I new game plus this shit, right? Oh man, yeah. We'll
man. Save that for Ready Player 2.
The multiplayer.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Gross internet.
Dark, dank internet.
Yeah.
The Oasis. Man, oh man, it's just freaking. It's Gianna Michaels and freaking Mia Khalifa dressed like Bayonetta characters, and they're just like,
Okay, I just want to point out to our audience that you said that you were not going to list any
I'm
porn
sorry.
star names.
It's stupid, dude. It's the
You've
stupidest,
done
dude. I'm
two.
sorry. Whatever. I don't care. It's just dumb. It's just that image is popping in my head, and it's just it's undefeatable. We have to move on.
Yeah.
You just made up made up the name of the podcast, by the way. The Dark CD.
The internet.
Mia awaits you in the dark corners of the Oasis. Oh man, put your quarter into that slot. Oh jeez. Oh. Hey-o. I do this for a living, folks. Oh man. Speaking of, I don't even know how to segue from that shit. Whatever. Did you check out the Spider-Man? Just go for it. Did you check out the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse trailer?
Yeah, it looks pretty neat.
That is the most enthusiastic. You're like, yeah, it's a cartoon. It looks dope. It's a Miles Morales movie, which I knew was coming down the pipe, but
yeah,
it looks very stylistic. I'll give it that. It has a look that I've never seen before. It almost reminds me of like old school computer animation. It almost like reminds me of like Liquid Television. Like remember MTV Liquid Television, where it's like a very
okay,
stylized thing, like Eon Flux kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like has a very sleek veneer on it, and it looks dope. It's pretty much just a sizzle reel of Miles learning his powers and just giving you an idea of the aesthetic of the world he's going to live in. And it's
the thing that gives me pause is that it's written by Phil Lord, which is part of the Christopher Miller group. I don't know if he's good by himself, but
we'll see.
But you'll see. Yeah.
We'll see. And that's funny that you pointed that out. I thought about it. It's like, well, he did make the Lego movie, but then again, this is a completely different animal than that. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, we can go through his list. They just don't want to mention it right now.
No, man.
But,
it'll make you de-hype.
We did some episodes of How I Met Your Mother. That would get some people going.
I hate How I Met Your Mother. I hate that show so much. It's because it was on for too long, firstly. And the main character became so unlikable as the series progressed.
Yeah.
You didn't want this guy to win at the end because he was a scumbag and he made terrible decisions. You know what I'm saying? But I guess that's life. We all make bad decisions, but forget him, dude. He did not deserve Robin. Anyway,
if I want to watch Life, I'd turn off the TV
and stare at me. If I wanted to escape, I would watch TV.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, it looks dope. Miles Morales getting it. A little hint at Peter Parker and Prowler. Maybe Spider-Gwen's in it. We'll see.
All right.
Last bit of news of the night, because we're running a bit long in the tooth. It's my favorite news of the entire weekend.
Right. And you're.
Oh, you broke up there. What you said?
Starting to cut out a little bit.
I know, man. We're underwater. Hopefully it doesn't drop. That's fine. Oh man, we'll do it live. But yeah, just wanted to go into the last bit of news of the night, which is the Street Fighter V announcement and the Street Fighter 30th anniversary collection. I'm gonna just go real quick into this because I don't want to linger on it too long. But the characters that have been announced for the next season of Street Fighter is Sakura, Cody from Guilty Gear, Cody from Final Fight, which is awesome. G, I'm thinking it's Greg from Bloody Roar. Sagat, which everybody's been waiting for. Falk, which is a new character. And my boy is back. My favorite fighting game character of all time, Blanca, has made his return to Street Fighter V. And now I can play the game again. So I'm super happy about that. Um,
Nice.
yeah, man. So, and the 30th anniversary collection, just really quick, it's pretty much just 12 video games on one disc. It's Street Fighter all the way to Street Fighter Third Strike on the Switch and on the
Nice.
PlayStation.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's like it's the entire Street Fighter collection on one place that you can play it. There's online play for 5 of the games. There is a section where you can actually look at old sprites, and it's a sprite analysis section. There's fan art, there's game creation art, there's production stills. It's just if you're a Street Fighter fan and you've been playing Street Fighter since you're a kid, wherever that may be in your stage of life, if that was back in the 80s, back in the 90s, 2000s, now it's a must pick up. It's everything you've ever wanted in Street Fighter. And it's just something that just has to be in the collection. And another reason to buy a Switch, because I want to play Street Fighter Third Strike online at work. That's just what I want to do. Go on my lunch break, play a couple of matches in Street Fighter, go back upstairs, go back to work. You know what I'm saying? So it's like another reason to buy a Switch. Please buy a Switch. Oh, that was a lot of news. All right, man. So let's get into these questions and answers. If you want to ask a question, you can always send that question to mastersofthenerdiversecast@gmail.com. You may ask Mike G to repeat that, so I will do so. It would be mean for me to say no. And that is mastersofthenerdiversecast@gmail.com. Are you ready for some questions, winner?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, first question. Who is more likely to win in a fight? The man who has nothing to lose or the man who has everything to gain? Or the man who has everything to lose versus the man who has nothing to lose.
Oh, that's harder. Everything to lose.
You think everything to lose would be the guy who has nothing to lose?
Yeah, everything. The guy who has everything to lose would beat the other guy.
I feel the same way. He would fight harder.
He has holes in one basket.
Right, and he'll turn into a desperate man and get that power up, that anime power up, and defeat the wild man who has nothing to lose.
Right.
So I think he would take that. Very quick question. Second question. At any point, is cheating in a video game or in a game in general justified?
Yes, if the other side is also cheating.
Thank you. That's a very good answer. That's a very good answer. Like, if the other guy's cheating, then why can't I cheat? Like, if he's juicing up, I'm going to juice up because I got to balance out. You know what I'm saying? Let's all be just roided out Superman.
Like Right, and the only reason why you would not want to cheat is because you're trying to diss him, or like trying to go like, I could beat you even while you are cheating.
Right.
And that's just bragging rights, it's just a motto to keep in mind that if the other side's cheating, you're not competing. You need to be cheating.
It's no longer a competition.
Like
no, it's real talk.
Right.
It's no longer a competition if it's not even if you're not on the same playing field. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yes,
like MMA fighters, it's for certain promotions, we won't name them.
We won't name names.
They do not have rigorous testing. So now both sides have steroids going on, and now here you come straight out of the UFC, which you've been a greenhorn, going like, I'm gonna be good, I'm gonna do all this, and that's just the issue with having professional sports.
Right.
But that's a whole other subject. I don't know where I was going with that.
No worries, man. But true,
yeah.
It's true. If you're not on an even playing field, you even that field however you got to. That means cheating as well. Go for it. Just don't do it online. You'll get trolled.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And last question. What's your favorite set of jobber enemies? Like the throwaway enemies, like the Putty Patrol, like in Power Rangers, you know what I mean? Like the throwaway villains, like the cannon fodder, as it were.
I do like the gingivitis monsters from the dental commercials.
Okay.
No,
Let's go. Okay.
My favorite, by far, would have to be the lizard people from Donkey Kong Country. That when you bop them on the head, they go ew. Like
Yeah,
they make like a cat noise instead of like a lizard
that's a very good
noise.
answer. I like the buff ones that go.
Ew.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? That's a
Donkey
very good
Kong is like
answer.
the master of weird noises. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you hit one, it makes that weird little.
Yeah.
Oh man, if I had to pick one, it would be the Foot Clan from the Ninja Turtles.
Oh.
Because the Foot Clan are dope, and also those weird dudes from the Hellfire Club in X-Men. You know what I'm talking about? Those like weird jobbers with the white masks that work for the Hellfire Club with Sebastian Shaw and the Dark Phoenix. Those guys are weird, but
That's bell. I can't.
yeah, check them out. But my legit answer is the Foot Clan. It's the Foot Clan. Those guys are awesome, and they're a play on the hand, which is a whole Daredevil thing. But that's for another podcast. Oh man, this was a good episode, man. This was indeed a solid episode.
Yeah.
Dude, so what are you looking forward to? What are you looking forward to this week?
Call of Duty is having a double XP session going on right now, so
Nice.
I'm gonna probably hop on to that in a couple of minutes. I have a couple of papers I need to finish before Christmas comes, so I'm gonna be doing. And I'm watching the 3 seasons of this travel show called An Idiot Abroad
Nice.
on Netflix. So be checking that out.
Sick, man. Like I'm looking forward to the Horizon Zero Dawn DLC. I'm finally picking that up this weekend. So I'm looking forward to that.
Nice.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Star Wars The Last Jedi with my family. That's going to be awesome experience. And I'm interested in finally finishing Mindhunter. I just need to drink that like cough syrup. I just need to take it down. So I'll be happy to talk about that next week.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Cool.
Once again, this has been our podcast. Definitely, Winter, thank you for being on with me and
No problem.
talking about all this nerd stuff. And where can we always find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Winter, capital I, capital I, capital I. Just search the name Winter on Google. You'll find me, WYNTR. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram. I'm all over the place. But you can also check out my other podcast, Couch Commentary, on iTunes for all your nerdy, needing a buddy to watch nerd stuff with needs.
Nice, man.
Couch Commentary.
Couch Commentary. Get it. Put it in your veins. Inject it right into the ventricle of life. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. You can always find me on Twitter, which is mnerdiverse. That is at mnerdiverse. And I just built a Tumblr page for the website. So check out our Tumblr page. I'm going to be putting up a bunch of weird stuff on there. I'm going to be retweeting a bunch of weird stuff. So check it out and, follow us. And I would like to add, for our listeners on YouTube and our listeners on especially iTunes, if you're on iTunes and you're checking us out, do me a huge favor. Leave a review. Leave a 5-star review. Leave a 1-star review. I just want to hear from you. So definitely please leave a review, subscribe, check out what we're doing on a weekly basis. This podcast is only going to get bigger, and we will be able to do that a lot faster with you. So I really appreciate you listening, and definitely give us a little review. Don't have to say much. Just say, "Oh, you guys are hype," or "You guys are garbage." I'll accept whatever you have to say. Any criticism is good criticism. So I definitely want to put that out there. You know what I mean? So, any parting words, Winter, before we close out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it, man. As always, I am your host, Mike G, and I will always ask you to take that one step beyond.
Welcome back to the stage. page of history.
Yo. Slim Shady. Yo. I'll puke, eat it, and freak you. Battle, I'm too weedy to speak to. The only key that I see to defeat you would be for me to remove these two Adidas and beat you and force feed you in both. And on each feet is a cleat shoe. I lift you off your feet so fast with a roundhouse, you'll think I pulled the fucking ground out from underneath you. I ain't no fucking G, I'm a cannibal. I ain't trying to shoot you, I'm trying to chop you into pieces and eat you. Wrap you in rope and plastic, stab you with broken glass, and have you with open gashes. Strap you with soaking mattress, coke and acid, black magic, cloaks and daggers. Fuck the planet until it spins on a broken axis. I'm so bananas, I'm showing up to your open casket to fill it full of explosive gases and close it back with a lit match in it while I sit back and just hope it catches. Blow you to fragments, laugh, roll you and smoke the ashes.
I see the light at the